Hello, beautiful souls. How are we doing? Let's hop into our lesson for this module. In this module, we're going to talk about our beliefs and our values. And there's a big difference between the two. So we're going to get into what the difference is between beliefs and values. And then we're going to also talk about how you can create what your values and your beliefs are, and then how you use those beliefs and values toward other people. Because this is important, because sometimes we have certain beliefs that other people do not have. And that can create a lot of tension and a lot of discord in our relationships and in our conversations and how we navigate life. So this lesson is going to be pretty important because our values and our beliefs dictate our blueprint to our life and how we're navigating and living. So let's hop into this. All right. Okay, what are beliefs? Beliefs are things that we believe to be true regardless of the evidence. They're assumptions we make about the world. They influence our thoughts, our behaviors, and our attitudes in significant ways. Okay. So again, a belief is something whatever I believe is true, regardless of the evidence. Okay. And I'm going to give you a very basic example. Okay. So the example is, let's talk about dogs. Some people believe that there are no bad dogs in the world, only bad owners. Okay. Others believe that not all dogs are inherently good. Now, whichever way you believe, you see that this is a belief system that dictates how you navigate the world. And in this case, it would be how you may potentially approach dogs, right? So we often make assumptions based on what we see, hear, read, or experiencing growing up. And many of our beliefs are rooted in our religious or cultural backgrounds, okay? So I'm going to give you a few beliefs that we have. So there's a political belief, how we think power should be distributed and controlled within a society. Then we have social beliefs, and those beliefs is how we people personally live our personal lives, should be structured in relation to the rest of society. And then we have religious beliefs, whether you believe in religion or not, okay? And that can be very important of how we navigate our life, okay? So when you go back and you think about beliefs, if we talk about certain beliefs, and we'll go further into this later on in this course, but when you think about certain things that you were told that you believe is true, no matter what, okay, but then you operate in that belief. So one of the biggest beliefs I remembered that for a very long time I believed, and I had to remove that belief, was when I felt that money was the root of all evil. I felt like, because that's what I'd always been told. And then they would give me these blaring examples of people that had money and how it made them evil, or the evil things that people were doing to get money. Okay. But I also had to realize, just like the same situation with dogs, that in life you have certain people that have a lot of money and that are open and good, and they use the money for good. And then you have a lot of people that use money for bad. But money isn't bad or good. Money is money. It enhances the person that you truly are at your core. Okay. So when you think about beliefs, it is your belief. It might not necessarily be someone else's belief, But my question to you is how often do you expect people to conform to your beliefs? Okay. So when you think about that, think about what areas in your life that you try to make people conform to what your beliefs are. But then also ask yourself, what scares you the most about allowing others to have their beliefs in their areas? Because we sometimes feel like we have to fight to make people believe what we believe in. But why can't we just honor what they believe in? Right? Okay. So that's our belief. So I really want you to sit down and just focus on some of the things that you believe that you find that other people don't necessarily believe. Okay. Now, our values. What are our values? Our values are systems that dictate how we judge what's considered good or bad in our community, in our culture, and in our society. These are unwritten rules that set the standards of behavior in our daily life. So the thing is, everybody has their own core values, and they're heavily influenced by our behaviors and our environment. Okay. So let's give an example. So someone grew up in a small town, might place a higher value on their neighborhood and community than someone who grew up in the city. The small town person grew up in an environment where they knew all of their neighbors and can turn to them for help. Whereas the city person still has a community, but it might not be made up of the people from other areas of their life, not the people living down the block. Okay. So, like, prime example, I can use me and my sister. You know, when our mom passed, we moved from a city back to our hometown, which was very small. My mentality couldn't stay there because I couldn't believe in what they were doing. My belief systems were so different, and I was just unhappy there. But for them and for her, you know, all the people in your community, you know, all these individuals, you're in tune. And when I stand, and it's not a judgment, but when I see their lives, they often seem very stressed to me. They often feel like, well, I got to do this because if I don't, these people are going to find out. And it just seems like a lot of undue pressure and stress for me, because my community and the people that I value and spend a lot of time with, that some of these people don't live anywhere near me. They live in other countries. But I grew up in a city where I didn't know my neighbors. And even now in my life, I don't know none of my neighbors and I live in a cul-de-sac. I don't know nobody that lives near me or around me. And part of that came from things that I observed where people would know their neighbors. And then when they would get in arguments with their neighbors, it would make life chaotic. And for me, my home is my peace. But then I've also seen other people that are so friendly with their neighbors. It's like they get along, they have amazing time, their neighborhood is thriving and vibrant, and that's good. But it goes back to what I believe and what I value. Okay. And guess what? Neither one of us are wrong. Neither one of us are wrong. The way she lives her life makes her happy. The way I live my life makes me happy. And we're very open in understanding that, hey, that works for you. It doesn't work for me. Just like what my life doesn't work for her. And that's okay. Because guess what? It's important to us. Okay. So where do we learn our values from? It can be through a combination of our background, our experiences, and our sense of self. Okay. So I want you to really spend time with this. Okay. So let's talk about the various values. There are 4 types of values that we can typically find within our environment, and each measures how a behavior benefits us or others within our society, culture, and community. So the very first one is a functional value. Does this behavior or item provide a useful service? Like when you look at function, like things that are happening, things that you're doing, things of that way, are they providing a useful service? Do you believe that they are? Okay. A monetary value. Is the behavior capable of generating money? So when we think about monetary value, does this make it capable for us generating money? And so an example of that is I can go to a restaurant, and if I feel like I'm not being treated well, then I'm going to not come back to that restaurant because the behavior that I received was not worth the monetary value that it cost me. Okay. So that's an example for me. A social value. Does this behavior help us connect with others or help others connect? So think about that. What is your social value? Your psychological value is your behavior that allows to express yourself more clearly. Okay. Your culture value. Do people in my community share this value with me? Does it share a custom or ritual with people in my group? So when I think about culture value, like I'm Native American, and there's certain cultures that we have that other cultures don't have. But just because I believe it and I value it and I honor it and it means a lot to me, doesn't mean that that's going to be the same for others. And I'm not judging them or forcing that down their throat because it's what I believe in and what I grew up in. Okay. So how do we connect the beliefs and values? Okay. So here's something that's very important. What we believe guides our values and how we conduct ourselves. And remaining committed to our beliefs can lead them to form values in our life. Strong beliefs can turn into our values, but not all values translate into beliefs. Things like integrity or honesty are values that guide our decision making. However, honesty isn't a belief system. Okay. Our values often don't influence our beliefs since they're more tangible. So in actuality, our beliefs tend to inform our values. If we believe that all people are inherently good, our values are more likely to center around kindness. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to give a quick breakdown of similarities and differences between beliefs and values. Okay. The differences. Beliefs are our assumptions about the world, and values are how we attribute worth to objects and behaviors. Beliefs stem from our experiences, our spiritual learnings, and our culture, whereas our beliefs heavily influence our values. Okay. Beliefs can teeter into prejudice, and values can manifest that prejudice. Okay. So think about that your belief can teeter into prejudice, and your values can manifest that prejudice. Okay. Like if we use race, if we believe one race is superior of another race, then imagine how that manifests into our values. Okay. Beliefs affect our morals, whereas values, they're how we live our morals through behavior, characteristics, and personalities. Now, what are the similarities? So beliefs and values both have external environments that influence us and influence them. Beliefs and values influence our behavior and how we experience the world. Both provide a shared sense of identity and community. Beliefs and values can change over time. Okay, so when you hear us talking about limiting beliefs, understand that sometimes that is where they come from. So what I want you to do is I want you to make sure that you're living your life on your own values and beliefs, not things that you learn from other people, but what is truly, truly important to you. So what I want you to do is I really want you to identify your core beliefs and values, identifying what moral values are important to you that means so much to you. Okay. All right. So enjoy this exercise because this is fun. And if you need help or guidance, then I would tell you to go back to the course called Path to Happiness. That was an hour and a half where it allows you to plant your garden of life and plant the seeds that mean a lot to you. And when you're planting those seeds, know that those seeds are coming from your values and your beliefs. So as you're doing that, it will help you identify these things in your life. Okay. All right. I love you, and I will see you guys on the next module.